Hey everybody, Karen from New England 360 Fitness here. Most of you know that we're all about corporate wellness and programming for businesses, organizations, and then coaching for those same types of clients and even individuals. But if you know me, you know I also love to spend a lot of time on my bike. If you know me really well, you know that I am by no means a winter cyclist. Once the temperature hits 40 degrees, I'm pretty much inside. I became a Zwifter this winter and I loved it. But now that the weather is getting nicer and I've been getting outside on two wheels, I actually have to steer the bike and maneuver the bike. And it's requiring some muscles that just aren't used in that way when you're riding indoors. And even when you're doing strength training, there's a lot of muscles involved, but we're just not necessarily always conscious or mindful of what they are and how they're working and how it transfers to greater strength, whether you're just talking about functional fitness or transferring it to a bike. So I'm going to take you through an easy little warm-up here to focus on a couple areas that usually get forgotten when we talk about biking because we're always thinking legs. So you know I believe in a dynamic warm-up. I love to just move. Gone are the days of stretching. So listen up, people. Before you get on your bike, warm up. And this is a great way to finish a ride as well. So if you're familiar with the quadruped exercise or tabletop, which is what I usually use, knees are under hips, wrists are under shoulders. Keep that core tight so you're tucking that tailbone, pulling your belly button up to your spine, really protecting that spine and engaging your core. We're not just going through the motions here. And you're gonna start to circle. Now, what I like about this is it's warming up hips and core, and it's very gentle. So if I'm up at 5:30 in the morning and I wanna be on the bike by 6, this is just a great way to wake my body up after lying down for 7 or 8 hours. If I'm lucky to have gotten that much sleep. Go ahead and go the other way. Now, you don't have to do 10 circles each side. It doesn't even necessarily matter if it's totally even. If you're off by 1 or 2, you're thinking of something, you haven't had your coffee yet. We're warming up the core and the hips very gently, and also the wrists. So here's another tip for waking up our hands, because if you're like me and it's been a long time since you were on the bike actually outdoors trying to turn your handlebars, wrists and forearms, man, my first ride, these were gassed and I felt like I could not even move my bike. So this is an exercise, again, you find yourself in that position, and just remember that our wrists and our hands are meant to kind of work in all directions. So by doing a certain little wrist march here, you're waking up your wrists, your hands, your forearms, and even your elbows, because we're not pressing hard. We don't have our whole body weight on the floor. But it's just a great way to say good morning or hello. And you can even come all the way around this way. You could pretend you're trying to rock around the clock. So turn around this way, and then also bring your hands in. So you could do this as a warm-up. Don't forget about your hip placement and your core position as well. And then you can even get a nice little stretch in, come back and forward. So if you're someone that works at a computer all day, or you're in your car driving, this day and age, I think people are pretty much stuck at home or on their bike, hopefully. That's probably not the case, but if you are sitting a lot, this is a great way to loosen up those hands. You can come around this way. Now, I've seen some people do these exercises here where they put both hands down. I don't recommend that because our wrists aren't really made to take that force. Now, especially if you're using this as a warm-up. But you could do one side and the other and just lean back, and you're gonna get a nice stretch opposite ways on both arms. You guys, this feels so good, and it's a great way to just warm up an area that's always so forgotten. And back. It's actually a little bit tiring on the joint too. So you can always stop, do some circles here, and some other things to consider if you want to keep doing that is you could place a towel or this yoga mat something that raises your hip a little bit higher than your fingers, a little bit softer, so you can ease into these movements a little bit better. You would actually have your hands this way for when you're coming this way, or even doing your circles. And then you can also always make fists and put your knuckles down. Same thing, same sort of mechanics here. And then you could even march this way. All right, so now that you've got your wrists and your forearms warmed up, let's also talk about stability as you're on the bike. Your body also needs to have some suspension to it though. Doesn't matter how much the bike has, if your core strength can't handle what you're riding over or the speed you're doing it, you're gonna set yourself up for some trouble. So since we're always so focused on our legs, it's really our arms and our back and our shoulders, our chest, those are stabilizing us over the handlebars. So one of my new favorite exercises, it looks like you're doing a push-up really, like you're cheating really bad, but it's scapular retraction. So you're working on that joint stabilization through your shoulders, which you need as you're riding your bike, whether it's a mountain bike, a gravel bike, a road bike, but you're engaging your core. Here's what you do. Get into this high plank position, which is almost kind of similar to riding a bike, and you're gonna retract down and then push up. Retract down, push up. So your triceps are really coming in. Exhale. Just like that. I recommend about 8 to 12 reps. If it's new for you, you may want to start at 6 to 8 reps. Work your way up. Do a set or two before you get on the bike, and then again when you get off, just to keep that strength. It's great to do on off days too when you're not cycling, so that it carries over afterwards. And if you love it and you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can also use an exercise band to add a little bit of resistance. So you basically get into push-up position here again, and here we go. You retract down and up, keeping your eyes a few inches in front of you. That's going to keep your neck and your head in line with your spine, and that's the goal here. So you're getting core strength, you're getting stability, and you're really working that back and then your wrists. These are forgotten areas. They don't take a lot of time to work on, and you really can just maintain them, but they're going to carry over big time. So if you're putting in lots of hours on the bike, make sure you think of your body as a whole. Obviously you have to prioritize certain other areas where a lot of the power is generated from, but you can generate more power if you don't have any weak links along the way. So try that out and let me know what you think.